Good morning to you all, my dear students. Welcome to the Industrial Pharmacy 2. Today we will going to start new topic from Industrial Pharmacy 2 as per PCI syllabus, that is the technology transfer. And the very first point related with that is the guidelines given by the World Health Organization, WHO guidelines on technology transfer in pharmaceutical manufacturing. So we know that what the technology is and what is the technology transfer. That means whatever the research which is going to be carried out in case of pharmaceutical industries with the help of use of the latest advanced and the sophisticated technologies. This particular topic is a kind of regulatory one, and most of the topics in case of 7th SEM Industrial Pharmacy 2, these are related with the regulatory only. Now, when it is a regulatory, it is associated with guideline. When it is regulatory, it is associated with the recommendation. When it is regulatory, it is associated with the suggestions, advices, and the functioning of the different organizations and the agencies. Why I am telling you those things are, you might face somewhat difficulty as far as understanding the topics are concerned. But as these are the guidelines, as these are the recommendations, so nothing is there to explain into that one, or it cannot be explained beyond its limit. What it is as it is, and we have to study as what it is. Are you getting my point? So likewise, in the same way, today also what we are studying, that is the guidelines that are used for the technology transfer. Now, before directly going to the pharmaceutical study aspects, we will just go through a clip. So that clip will gives you the clear-cut idea as far as the process of technology transfer is concerned.
Yesterday, when researchers discovered new products, services, or technical solutions, they found a huge, wild, extensive land full of barriers to transform their discoveries to society. Today, improving our quality of life requires many different actors from various disciplines. In this new scenario, there is a key player, the CRG, with its TBDO, the Technology and Business Development Office, that provides the supports that channel your ideas and discoveries towards society, adding value through the process. As research is the first and most essential step of the CRG value chain, we aim you disclose every brilliant idea or project you have to the TBDO to secure the intellectual property protection. Our experts will assess various aspects: intellectual property protection strategy, market potential and competition, explore the best potential business model, suggest ways to add value and validate your ideas through proof of concept experiments, help you obtain financial support for validation, draft a commercial pathway, and expose your ideas to industry, investors, and entrepreneurs. The objective is to help guide your innovative ideas through the validation process by providing a commercialization pathway based on the team's assessment and their contact with different stakeholders, entrepreneurs, pharma, and biotech experts, investors, etc. There is a high failure rate, but TBDO will strongly support you to overcome it. Our experts will identify the key validation experiments, provide management backup and help to obtain the financial solutions for development. We will also be on your side to guide you and your project, whether your invention deems to be a license to a company or if instead you see yourself as an entrepreneur. For example, by gaining value through sponsored research collaborations, or by stimulating innovation and entrepreneurship within the CRG community. The TBDO encompasses a multidisciplinary team that will help to achieve your goals. We serve as a link between scientists and their science and the market, focusing on uncovering potential inventions embedded within CRG and channeling them accordingly towards its most useful situation, and therefore contributing to our socio-economic welfare, transferring the knowledge of your discoveries to society.
That is just a brief overview of the process of technology transfer. That means what the inventions, what the research, what the processes of manufacturing that are going on. This has to be presented to the authorities, to the agencies. And in order to present these, we require the experts, we require the knowledgeable persons. And there is the one which will going to provide information, that is said to be the sending unit, and the one which will going to receive the information, that is said to be the receiving unit. And there should be a collaboration, there should be a balance between these two. Now we will go through what the WHO says, what the WHO guides accordingly, what are the different guidelines that has been given by WHO as far as the pharma sector is concerned in case of the transfer of technology is concerned. So if we see the contents of our discussion, that will go through the introduction, scope, glossary that is related with the various terminologies that are used widely during the process of technology transfer. Then we have to see the organizational management, then the process of production, that is the transfer process, processing, packaging, cleaning, the quality control process that are associated with the analytical method transfer, the premises and equipment documentation, and last but not the least, that is the qualification and the validation. Now, as already I told you that because these are the guidelines, so we have to try to study all these which are as it is given by the WHO. Now, let us beginning what particularly these guidelines are. These guidelines, these are the principles on transfer of technology that are intended to serve as a framework which can be applied in a flexible manner rather than as strict rigid guidance. This means what? The FDA, the WHO had given a framework that it should be like this, it should be according to this. But it does not mean that rigidly and strictly it should be as that. Somewhere possible, wherever possible, we can go for some alterations, changes, modifications for which the flexibility is also given. The main focus of giving these guidelines by WHO is to maintain the quality aspects in case of the pharma field. So the focus has been placed on the quality aspect in line with WHO mandate. It is mandatory by the WHO to have a particular kind of framework, but that should be flexible wherever it is possible. But the flexibility is not in terms of the quality. There is no compromise with that of the quality. The transfer of process to an alternative site occurs at some stages in the life cycle of most products, from development, scale up, manufacturing, production, and launch to the post approval phase. So every product that will go through all these, that is development, scale up, manufacturing, production, launch, and the post approval phases. So during these phases, they require the transfer of the processes to an alternative site. Now, if we want to define the transfer of technology, how we can go for defining it? It is a logical procedure. What the technology transfer is? It is a procedure. It is a logical procedure that controls the transfer of any process together with its documentation and professional expertise between development and manufacture or between manufacture sites. We had developed a formulation, we had developed a product, and we want to manufacture it. At that time, there is a need to have the technology transfer. The what technology we had developed at lab level, at pilot level, we want to implement, we want to install it at manufacturing level. So all the procedures that are related in terms of controlling the transfer of any process with its documentation and professional expertise. We require the experts from the different area. We require expert from account, we require expert from biotechnology, we require expert from anatomy, we require experts from physiology, we require experts from the biochemistry, from large number of area. We require expert from engineering, right? So the control of all these processes and its documentation between what? Between development and manufacture, or between manufacture side. If two different sites are there where manufacturing is occurring, so between these two, they should run parallelly, right? So that is what is the transfer technology and its definition. It is a systematic procedure that is followed in order to pass the documented knowledge and experience gained during development and or commercialization to an appropriate, responsible, and authorized party. Right? It is this systematic procedure that is followed in order to pass the documented knowledge. What is the knowledge? What is the ideas? Whatever the hypothesis we made, we want to bring these into reality through our experience. Technology transfer embodies both the transfer of documentation and the demonstrated ability of the receiving unit. The receiving unit is called as RU to effectively perform the critical elements of the transfer technology to the satisfaction of all parties and any applicable regulatory bodies. Now, this is as per the ISP, International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering, and this is the international society and not the national or the regional level body. The literature searches reveal little information on the subject originating from national or regional regulatory bodies. The guidance on intra-company transfer was prepared by the International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering. Now, what are the reasons that why we need to go with the guidelines given by the WHO? The ever-changing business strategies of pharmaceutical companies increasingly involving intra and inter-company transfer of technologies, right? In order to survive the unit, there is need to go for modification, there is need to go for adaptation of the new technologies. So either within company or intra company or inter company, these transfers are required, or reasons such as the need for additional capacity. Suppose if we want to develop, if we want to expand the capacity, then in that case, the technology transfer that is useful. Relocation of operations, one plant that is situated at one place, another plant that is situated at another under expansion program, or consolidations and mergers. Suppose if we want to overtake some another company, or if we want to merge the two different companies. The WHO Expert Committee on Specifications for Pharmaceutical Preparations therefore recommend in its 42nd report that WHO address this issue through preparation of WHO guidelines on this matter. So for all these reasons, that is either to carry out the intra-company changes, intra-company transfer, or for increasing the capacity, or for relocation, or for merging, there is a guideline given by the WHO in terms of the technology transfer. The transfer of technology requires a documented, planned approach using trained and knowledgeable personnel working within a quality system. We require trained people, we require the knowledgeable people, we require the experienced people, we require the people which will maintain all kinds of documentation from the aim point of view is that it should maintain the quality system with documentation of data covering all aspects of development, production, and quality control. The development of product, its production, and the quality control. Usually there is a sending unit, SU, a receiving unit, RU, and there is a managing unit in the process, which may or may not be a separate entity. Sometimes it might be a company itself, sometimes they might go for hiring some outsource agencies. For contract manufacturing, please see the GMP guidelines, good manufacturing practices. For the transfer to be successful, the following general principles and requirements that should meet. Now, all these are the recommendations which are given by the WHO. What are these? The project plan should encompass the quality aspects of the project and be based upon the principles of quality risk management. There should be quality, there should not be risk, and if it is there, that should be properly managed. The capabilities of the sending unit and at the receiving unit should be similar. Both they should have the same kind of capabilities, but not necessarily identical. There is no need to have the identical, but they should have the similar kind of facilities and the capabilities. And facilities and equipment should operate according to similar operating principles. A comprehensive technical gap analysis between the sending unit and receiving unit, including technical risk assessment and potential regulatory gaps that should be performed as needed. There should not have any kind of gap. If it is there, that should be performed wherever it is required. Adequately trained staff should be available or should be trained at the receiving unit. A regulatory requirement in the countries of the sending unit and the receiving unit, and in any countries where the product is intended to be supplied, should be taken into account and interpreted consistently throughout any transfer program project. Let us say, for example, we are manufacturing in India, we want to export it into the South Africa. So both India as well as South Africa, they should have the similar kind of facilities and the capabilities. That is, sending unit is India, receiving unit is the South Africa. There should be effective process and product knowledge transfer. The aspects, these are related not only with that of the product, but these are also related with that of the process. So it should be process and product knowledge transfer. Technology transfer can be considered successful if there is documented evidence that the receiving unit can routinely reproduce the transferred product, processes, or method against a predefined set of specifications as agreed with the sending unit. So there should be an agreement between sending unit and the receiving unit, and it should be according to that of the agreement, and they should have the this agreement that will act as a documented evidence. In the event that the receiving unit identifies particular problems with the process during the transfer, the receiving unit should communicate them back to the sending unit to ensure continuous knowledge management. If any lacuna, if any gap, if any risk has been found by the receiving unit, so that should be communicated with that of the sending unit, and that should be properly documented so that it should be used for the process of further research, and such process should not repeated in future. The technology transfer projects, particularly those between different companies, have legal and economic implications. If such issues, which may include the legal issues like say the IPR, intellectual property, royalties, pricing, conflict of interest, and confidentiality. These are expected to impact on open communication of technical matters in any way. They should be addressed before and during planning and execution of the transfer. Because of the company's norms, because of the company's legal policies, one cannot go on talking openly onto these aspects or onto some of the aspects. So they should be properly sorted out. Any lack of transparency may need to be ineffective transfer of technology. Yes, transparency is most important. Honesty is most important. What we are showing, it should be in reality. It is not something like that to over emphasize or to over express anything or to over hypothesize anything. Reality is required. Actual, what is with us and what we are showing, that is important. So for that we require the transparency. Now, if transparency is not there, that will lead to the ineffective transfer of technology. The parties may not believe and they may not going on maintaining the business. Some of the principles outlined in this document may also be applicable to manufacturing investigational pharmaceutical products for clinical trials as part of research and development, but this is not the main focus of this guideline and has been excluded due to the complexity of the processes. What is the meaning of this? This means that the principles related with the investigational pharmaceutical product and clinical trials, these will not get covered by these guidelines, but as a secondary, these will be included. Some of the responsibilities outlined in this document for the sending unit may also be considered to be part of the management unit responsibility. It is not actual needed, but because of the management requirement, management responsibilities, these are there. Now, the scope. What is the scope of this technology transfer? This section specifically provides for transfer of quality control methods where a technical agreement exists. The technical agreement that will exist between whom? Between sending unit manufacturer to receiving unit manufacturer or sending unit manufacturer to receiving unit quality control laboratory. That means either between two manufacturers or between the lab and the manufacturer. Where no such technical agreement exists, for example, testing by national laboratories or testing for procurement agencies, a number of the points listed in section 2.4, which we will going to see, may not be workable and alternative approaches may be required. If it is not the technical agreement, if technical agreement is not maintained, is not done, then the 2.4 may not be workable and some alternative we have to find it out. What is 2.4? We will see in next couple of slides. The 2.1, that is the scope associated with this technology transfer. This document gives guidance in principle and provide general recommendations on the activities necessary to conduct a successful intra or inter-site transfer of technology as described in the introduction to these guidelines. So 2.1, that is associated with the principle, it is associated with the general recommendations which are related with transfer of technology. The intention is to address the basic considerations needed for successful transfer in order to satisfy the regulatory authority defined for the transfer process. The 2.2, it is associated with the scope of guideline. The guideline will be applied to manufacturing active pharmaceutical ingredients like APIs, manufacturing and packaging of bulk material, manufacturing and packaging of finished pharmaceutical products, and or performing analytical testing. The 2.3, that is the recommendations, these are provided in these guidelines, applies to all dosage forms but need to be adjusted on a case by case basis by using the risk management principle. Particularly, close control of certain aspects will be required for certain formulations such as sterile products and metered dose aerosols. WHO guidance on manufacture of specific pharmaceutical product will be useful in this regard. So we want to maintain, we want to have close control, close watch onto the formulations like sterile products and the metered dose aerosols, where the 2.3, that is applicable to all kinds of the dosage forms, and it may require the adjustment based on the requirement. Yes, this is the 2.4 we used to talk about, with which the guidelines address the following areas at the sending unit and the receiving unit: the transfer of development and production, processing, packaging, and cleaning; transfer of analytical methods for quality assurance and quality control; the skill assessment and training of the staff, of the personnel; the organization and management of the transfer; the assessment of premises and equipment, documentation and qualification along with validation. The 2.5 scope, it deals with each transfer project, it is a unique. So the provision of comprehensive set of guidelines is beyond the scope of this document. This document will give general guidelines. This document will give some common overall guidelines. It is not related with the comprehensive details. These guidelines do not provide guidance on any legal, financial, or commercial considerations associated with technology transfer project. It will not guide onto the financial profit or loss. It will not guide onto the commercial, that is how much to produce. It is not associated with any kind of legal requirements. The next is the glossary. So glossary, that is the terminologies which are used in case of technology transfer time to time. Now, what these glossaries are there, what these terminologies are there, and what is their meaning, that is necessary to understand under the glossary. And here particularly the definitions given below apply to the terms used in these guidelines. They may have different meanings in other context. So in that, the very first is the acceptance criteria. What is this acceptance criteria? The measurable terms under which a test result will be considered acceptable. That is what is said to be the accepted criteria. And the term is used in case of the technology transfer. The next term is active pharmaceutical ingredient. Any substance or mixture of substances intended to be used in the manufacture of a pharmaceutical dosage form, and that when so used becomes an active ingredient of that pharmaceutical dosage form. Such substances are intended to furnish pharmacological activity or other direct effect in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease, or to affect the structure and function of the body. Right? So this is for treatment, this is for curing, this is for mitigation, and this is for altering the structure and function of the body, affecting the structure and function of the body. Like say the artificial leg, right? So these they will affect, they will improve the structure and function of the body.